These reports are now coming to us from Chhattisgarh. Official sources confirming that it was suspected Naxals who fired at an Indian Air Force chopper there in Chhattisgarh. According to those sources, one person on board, in fact, has been hit. That missing Air Force helicopter was finally traced to Timarpur near Sukma. The helicopter had gone missing in Dantewada over Chhattisgarh. The helicopter had in fact been in the process of airlifting two Jawans who had been injured in a Naxal attack. That Air Force chopper going from Jagdalpur to Sukma at the time. Joining us now, Anubha Bhosle. Anubha, what more can you tell us? Is this a first really of its kind to see Naxals firing directly at that Indian Air Force chopper?
So Hasni, first just to clarify, I think it's still not clear whether this emergency landing was due to firing by the Naxals or it was simply due to bad weather. The information that we have, and we are getting it directly through the CRPF Director General, who's spoken to us a short while ago. He has spoken about an encounter that took place on the ground at about 3:45 this afternoon. The troops had gone to the location. This particular Mi-17 chopper that belongs to the Indian Air Force had also been pressed as far as rescue operations were concerned. This particular chopper was on a flight path that was going to take it from Jagdalpur to Sukma to pick up these injured Jawans at around 4 o'clock, 4:30 or so. We do believe it went off the flight path. This particular time, when it was in complete darkness and vacuum and the radars couldn't really trace it, was about 40 to 45 minutes or so. And now information that is being confirmed to us is that the chopper has been traced to Timarpur. It is very close to Sukma, and the chopper at this point in time has been cordoned off by the CRPF. So as far as that element of that news update coming in through the wire agency PTI, that there has been a firing perhaps and one person could have been injured in that chopper, we can't really confirm it through some of our secondary sources at this point in time.
Right. Anubha, the timeline that you're spelling out gives us a sense of what may have played out. Are your sources also telling you what the situation on the ground currently is? If this was indeed a rescue chopper involved in rescuing injured Jawans from that particular area, do we know if it's an all clear now, if all those, including someone who is possibly injured, has actually been airlifted?
It is status quo at this point in time, Smita. The details that we are getting really are sketchy at this point in time. Mi-17 choppers of the Indian Air Force are often involved in operational sorties. You're rightly pointing out that they are very, very often involved in rescue operations. They are also involved in airlifting Jawans from location A to location B, and they also airlift some of the injured Jawans. At this point in time, that the information that we have is that there is a complete cordon of the area of Timarpur where this particular chopper has been traced. So if the chopper was carrying two injured Jawans, as the CRPF Director General has told us, the situation at this point in time is completely status quo, and no further action really has been taken on part of the Indian Air Force to either airlift or try and resolve the situation on the ground at this point in time.
And certainly those Jawans waiting medical attention. Anubha, of course, this incident coming about a week after that other incident in Latehar in Jharkhand, where we had seen some of the bodies stitched with IEDs, also a helicopter seeing gunfire coming at them, not being able to take Jawans out of those areas. Do we know anything about the groups that are said to be involved right now?
Often in these areas of Dantewada, Suhasini, as you well know, the Army and the Indian Air Force operate with a lot of legalities, etc. The particular choppers that the Indian Air Force involves of the Mi-17 aren't really authorized to fire back. So in the sense, the Mi-17 choppers that are currently involved in these operational sorties and rescue operations go through a whole host of risks. It is very well known that the Naxal attacks on the security forces who are involved in these operations are by means of small fire, etc. Remember, in 2011 as well, very close to the district headquarters in Jagdalpur, an Indian Air Force chopper had come in under attack. At that point in time, there were injuries as well that were sustained. So the Indian Air Force currently employed in all these rescue operations are really doing some of these operations with their hands tied. In that sense, it's still not clear whether what is the kind of firing if this particular chopper did sustain, or whether it went off the flight path completely on its own.
Right. Anubhav, for the benefit of our viewers who are just joining in, give us a sense of what played out over the last couple of hours leading up to that chopper going off the flight path, off the radar, so to speak, and subsequently being discovered as having possibly been shot at, as the PTI is reporting, but you're saying that isn't confirmed.
I think we can perhaps now join in the CRPF Director General Pranay Sahai Smita, and he perhaps will be able to take some of these points in much greater detail. Sir, thanks very much for speaking to us here on CNN IBN. Would you first like to confirm for us whether this particular chopper has been traced and what is the situation on the ground?
The chopper has landed near, there's a Chhattisgarh armed police camp called Timilwada under district Sukma of Chhattisgarh. And it had apparently gone there for picking up, there was an encounter in the evening at about 3:30, 3:45 with Chhattisgarh armed police personnel for picking up probably one casualty and a couple of persons injured. So it has landed 1 kilometer away from this Timilwada, Chhattisgarh armed police camp.
Okay.
Our troops are there and we are covering the place.
Sir, would you like to confirm for us, because the PTI is reporting at this point in time that this Mi-17 chopper did come under Naxal fire and that's the reason it went off radar?
Beg your pardon?
Sir, did this particular Mi-17 chopper come under Naxal fire and that's the reason it went off radar?
I would not be able to comment that, whether it has come under fire or because it has landed or because of technical reasons. I am not clear on this yet. But the chopper has been located and our troops are there.
Okay, and what is the condition of the two men that this chopper was involved in rescuing, sir?
I said one people in that encounter in the evening, one person of the Chhattisgarh armed police, probably there was a casualty, and there were other two people injured, for which this chopper had gone from Jagdalpur.
Okay, I understand, sir, that the details are still very sketchy because you obviously are getting input from the ground, but you are confirming for us that this particular chopper made an emergency landing, whether it was for technical reasons or weather-related reasons. At this point in time, sir, are your men currently cordoning off the entire area and the chopper? What would be the next course of action?
Yeah, our men are around the chopper now.
Okay, and just a little more details about the encounter that took place at about 3:45 this afternoon.
With the Chhattisgarh armed police, the details I have already given. They were the troops of Chhattisgarh armed police, the 9th and 13th battalion. They were on a road opening duties when they had an encounter with the Naxal.
Okay, just one quick detail, sir. You would also confirm for us that this chopper was on a flight path from Jagdalpur to Sikma to pick up these injured Jawans, right?
Right. Thank you.
Fair enough. The CRPF Director General Pranay Sahai, obviously short on time at this point in time as he is coordinating some of these operations. But I think details at this stage, Suhasini and Smita, confirming for us that there has been a casualty as far as that encounter is concerned. It would not be fair to speculate completely that this chopper came under Naxal firing. Yes, it did make an emergency landing. Perhaps that landing could be for technical reasons. Perhaps that landing could be on account of weather. At this point in time, the CRPF men have completely cordoned off the chopper and are yet to take their next course of action.